Okay, so now we've got Bob, and Bob has this trusty little iPad, and he goes and he puts in the web address into Safari, and now the browser says, hello, Internet. Please give me back this web page that I want. Convert this web address into a web page for me. Okay. So then it's going to find somewhere in the world where this web server is located at. This is sitting at a web hosting company right now. Great. All of the files, everything is stored on this web server. Now, a web server is nothing more than a computer. It's got a hard drive, it's got RAM, it's got a processor on it, it's got all that stuff on it. It's just running web services on it too. So it's going to run the software that's on there, which in this case, well, yeah, it has Apache or Nginx or something else for the web server. But for our case, we're going to do WordPress. Okay. So the request comes in. Now we're going to say, let's spin up WordPress. And the entry point or the bootstrap point is actually at index.php. Now, what do you see here with index.php? Well, I see PHP. Okay. WordPress is built on PHP. And I'll show that to you here in just a little bit. All of the files are in PHP. Well, there's also some HTML built into it. There's some CSS. There's some scripting. There's lots of different things that are built into it also that are stored here on this web server. PHP runs on the web server. It doesn't run over here for Bob. It runs right here. So this is the server-side scripting language. Okay, that's why you need to know that. It's built on WordPress is built on it. So are your themes, so are your plugins. The whole infrastructure of what you're working with is going to be PHP on the server side. All right, so what's going to happen is we have this request come in. It's going to say, okay, index.php, would you please run? So the web server loads it. PHP starts executing the code that's in there. It was only 2 lines of code. One says a constant, and the other one says, load another file. That file loads, it runs a little code, then it runs another file. And it just continues as it's loading up all the WordPress files. Okay. Once that gets all loaded up, then it's going to go and it's going to say, okay, now I need to load up the plugins. Okay, so it's going to go through each plugin, find its bootstrap, and load it up. Okay, so now these are ready. Then it will go to the theme into the functions.php file, and it's going to run that file. Now, if you're in a child-parent architecture, like with Genesis Framework, it'll run the child functions.php file first. Okay. All right. So now we've got everything up and running. Good. At that point, then, what it's going to happen is this. Ready? You come over here and you said, I want this domain. I want something like, I want labs. And then this particular lab, this is what I want. So it's got to convert it being WordPress. I've got to convert this request, this web address, and figure out what web page is being requested. All right. So what it's going to do is it's going to parse all of this out. Now, remember whenever you go into settings and then permalink, and you set what you want your permalink to be, right? When that happens, what WordPress is doing is it's going through and it's building up what's called all of the rewrites. And that gets stored into the database. Okay? It's a very expensive process, meaning that it's slow because there's a lot that needs to be done. It's a lot of strings and patterns that get built up. Things like the custom post type, feed, category tags, all that stuff, all the different patterns that there could be. Well, we got to do our rewrites for that and store that into the database. Okay. So that's just one process that occurs when you do things like set your permalink, activate a plugin, and the plugin handles, hey, when I get activated, I want to do a a flush of the rewrites, which means then it's going to go and store them again. It builds them up and stores them again. But that's for a later conversation. I just want you to be aware of this. Okay, don't get wrapped up in the details yet. Stay with me. All right, so now we've got in the database these patterns. All right, so I have a pattern. I'm going to come in with this one and then a title here. All right, so the way this is going to have to get broken down is this. In the database, this is a record ID, which in WordPress we call post ID. Okay, how does it find that in the database? Well, it's going to go through a process of figuring out the query vars here. Okay, I know that's one of those technical terms, but just in case, you need to know that a query means that I'm going to query the database. I'm going to go and ask it for some stuff. Okay, vars are talking about the variables. All right, so what it's going to do is it's going to break this down. It's going to go to the database. It's going to pull out those rewrites. Remember, we stored all those patterns. Okay, now picture in your mind a whole bunch of patterns. So I've got homepage pattern for the root. Then I've got something for like feed. And then I've got categories. And then I've got other things. And I get down here to my custom post type, which is labs. And then I have some various patterns for labs. And it comes down and says, ooh, does this match? No, no, no. Yes. Boom. Matches right there. So it grabs that and now it knows what to do with it. From this pattern, it knows, hey, that's a custom post type that has that slug to it. And I can then take this title slug and I can convert that over into an ID because I know how to do that. I being WordPress, it knows how to handle all that stuff. And if you stick with me through Know the Code, you'll know how it does it too. Okay, that's more advanced stuff above and beyond what we're doing today. I just want you to know that it knows how to do that. So in the database, it's storing things by the post type. Okay, so I got post, page, media, different post types. So it knows, okay, I'm going to go and pull that out and I want to look for this particular slug, then I can get that ID. Cool. So I'm going to pull all that information out of the database and I'm going to get it ready so that when WordPress says, okay, this has a particular pattern to it. Okay, so now I know this is one single post. It's a custom post type, but it's still single. Then I can come over here and I can look in the theme and go, hey, do you have a particular template assigned for this pattern? If no, okay, then I'll just pull open the single. If you don't have that, then I can just work my way backwards until I find the default of what I should be displaying. And then it calls in the theme, it'll call the right thing, even if it goes all the way back to index in the theme. Okay, so it knows where to go and how to get it back to trying to find that template. Now, a template can serve a couple of different purposes depending upon how you use it. It can be just HTML, so it's a view, or it can be business logic, which then goes and pulls a view. But essentially what it's doing is it's saying, I need to build up all the HTML that gets sent back to Bob over here, who's waiting patiently. Oh, please give me my web page. Okay, and we have plugins that are running based upon how they're going to get called. Maybe this page has like an FAQ or some short codes on it, or maybe it's a portfolio. These are all plugins. Okay, and then it would call those and say, okay, I need you to do your thing, please, and put some code in right here. Right, and it all is getting rendered up. Now, we're going to talk about this more in detail. I'm just trying to give you an overview and big picture. How we take this and it becomes that, which is a web page. Okay, big brush strokes for you to understand it here. Okay, rewind this and watch this one again before you move on.